Welcome back to the World Breaker Project, and today I am back. I'm sorry that it took a while because I kind of had no motivation to go on this part, and that's probably going to be normal for most of the story part until I get to the more interesting stories that I have thought of. So the first five is going to be a little bit of a drag, and plus uni started as well, which is just going to make it harder for me to do. But I'm able to finish this at least up to part one. So we have a lot more things to talk about, and I do think we do have some changes. Not much though. It's only added two details, and I would say this part is not very strong writing because I'm not really a person who talks about espionage or something to do with like sneaking in something, because this is probably be the one and only time, or maybe there's multiple times, but it's off screen where there's more of an espionage where they try to do something. And the first thing I would say is a change that does not make sense until it is introduced. So I added a new ability for August Lokuro because it makes sense for him to have something like this. He also has the ability to sense the area and protect incoming attacks, but it's a very small level of it. It doesn't make sense. Basically, how he's able to sense the environment or have some sort of instinct that tells him. I'm not gonna tell what kind of what part of the power this power. It's more of a technique. I like to say more of a technique comes from, but how what he can do is think of after the last Airbender. I actually thought of this ability before I actually watched Avatar. I didn't even know. So, but it works kind of similar, but in a greater extent. So, if you guys remember Toph in the first battle where she's somehow felt the shockwave around her, and like it showed like I don't know. I think I can find the clip. So hopefully hopefully I do not get flagged for this, but I am not. I'm gonna just wait for a while before I go through this. It's, oh my goodness. Let me just hide it. Oh no, you can hear the okay, it's gone now. So sorry, just waiting because the ad is so dumb. There we go. You can't hear the audio, but let me just skip through. So I think you guys probably would know what this comes from. This, where she's able to send a shockwave, but instead of something where someone creates shockwave, he himself creates a small shockwave that spreads to the entire area, depending how much you want to see. So if he just stamps his feet, or even walking when he does that ability, he will be able to see the entire environment. Of course, when it's like, that's basically some kind of observation thing where it's like a lot more people are gonna be doing that. Where if they really want to figure out an area that quickly, they use this technique to just scan the entire area, and they automatically know where to go. And they can also know how many people, blah 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 blah. You kind of understand what the power is. So Lokuro is going to be the first user of it, but he's not going to be the best user for it. For him, it might be something that he figured out himself, but never been taught it. Nor it's a very secret technique that not a lot of people. I mean, it's only a secret technique to a lot of people, but it's definitely being used by the top people who have the basically top class people. And also this one I want to change that the Grimoire tries to change his mind, but he still goes through it. So that's just another thing I added, just to kind of make it make a bit more sense later on, because she is meant to be a ancient grimoire, and I'll be talking about her next time, which hopefully I can do it tomorrow, because I want to at least upload 2 to 3 times a week now. Just because I'm just running out of time. I don't have a lot of time now. So that hopefully I'm able to do that. But basically, she is basically trying to stop him, but he has something that he desires. He has something he desires from that mission. I would say more the reward part. And OP starts. Then this one is. And now we're actually talking about the second part of it, which is this is going to be part 1. I think I want to just do a small part 2. Then part 3 is going to be the ending of the story. Part 2 is more okay. I'll get to it when we get there. So what I'm going to say is the next chapter is going to be Harmony. Then one after that is going to be, I'm thinking either I continue to part 2 a bit, then in between part 2 I will be writing the location, because end of part 2 they're in a new location. They are not in the dome, and I think I should just start talking about this. So it cuts to Jordan, Celicia sitting next to the class with each other. So this basically just splits the story. So I don't know how to explain it well. Basically, it cuts. They're randomly whispering around the class, questioning why she's sitting next to Jordan. Class is starting, so both have more chit chat about the mission. Celicia reminds the meeting in the library with August at lunch. So that's basically setting up their kind of like, it's not that good, but hey, it works. If this works, it works. Plus, the whole plan doesn't really matter, and you kind of understand why. But like, basically, just the bell rings, blah 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 blah. They head to the underground library. There's a lineup, so there's got to be in between. There's got to be a little bit of a chit chat where they try to get to know each other, but yeah. So they get to the underground passage. They hold an ID card to scan it. The door opens to an underground library. Bookshelves floating in, blah 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 blah. Think of the library in No Game No Life. Maybe something similar, but much larger. So that's some stuff that I want to explain. It's more. I probably won't be explaining the library too much. It's extremely busy with many librarians and students studying there. August popped up behind one of the bookshelf while they're walking and told them to follow him. He leads to a quiet place that has no one near it. While walking, he comments on their communication of being good thing, which basically August is kind of the semi-leader of the story in terms of he is the guy who pushed everything to plan everything. Later on, he's not the main lead, but the Shangri-La Frontier where we follow Sunraku, but he isn't really the guild leader. It's actually Arthur Pensagon. Is it Pensagon? Yeah. And yes, I've been watching Shangri-La Frontier recently. That's why I mention it. Right now, I don't think you guys can see it. Let me just post it up. There's a game right here. One of the characters right here. Hold up. You can see it better. Yeah, there we go. There's Sunrocker there. I got him from this game. And you also saw Gray. And yeah. Basically, the main lead's still Jordan. So bell rings. They start at a level. I already mentioned that. He leads to a quiet area where has nowhere near it because it's a massive library. Although there's most like a lot of students around and like a lot of teachers, blah 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 blah, librarians. It's still a massive library. There's still going to be places where there's going to be a lot more people and a lot less people. And of course, since this is a place where they study offensive magic, and that's the main priority for most of them, they're mostly gonna be near the offensive magic books and stuff like that. So they went to a more quiet place to discuss this. I already mentioned this. There's why is this no? So while he was walking, there's communication, but it doesn't push. Did I delete anything? No, I have not. I feel like I feel like I have deleted something in between there. He leads. Oh no, never mind. He leads to a quiet place that has nothing near it. While walking, they comment on the communication is a good thing, and it feels like both sides are hiding something. So this is something that will bring more of the character development between Celosia then Jordan. I think August. I won't be giving him a lot of characterization. I wouldn't give him a lot of growth in this arc due to him already feeling a little bit more complete than someone like Celosia and Jordan, who are currently struggling something that August used to be struggling in. So he's more of a consultant, which kind of fits into him want to be a therapist. See, I thought a lot of things, and I'm happy about this. Why there's nobody there? It's a hard to access area, number one, and the books there are mostly outdated magic that are used for agriculture. So yes, agriculture does exist, and they can be used for magic, but not a lot of people are interested in it. And since this school is like a massive school where they prioritize offensive magic, of course they're not gonna do agriculture. Maybe some of them are interested in agriculture, but not all of them. So, but they still have this due to it being a massive library that is absolutely famous in that region. And then they held over the long wooden desk. August placed the dome layout, which was given and started playing it. Wait, they were given by Pindle. I want to add this because I was debating if I should add this. He also this is a USB hacking device on the table. And then before they start, they tackle how they're gonna tackle. August asks each other's skill set, and then this is basically them like understanding what they are. August created support type magic, Celestia fire range magic, and plasma / lightning magic. Jordan said okay, this one is actually a lot more interesting. This one's good. This one kind of ties in with harmony, so this gives you a tiny bit understanding of what harmony is and what she can do, and surprisingly you kind of see it. I wouldn't give you the full potential yet. That will be more at the end of this story where you'll kind of understand. So it's just more of a taster, and he doesn't really fight anyone. I mean, there's not really a lot of, apart from the first scene, there's actually no fighting. I'm surprised about that. So I lost it. There it is. So so Jordan said he just got a grimoire that allows him to use magic, but mentioned he does have a form that allows him to convert mana into energy, but it's loud when it's activated, and he rarely uses it since it's extremely hard to use. And there's a reason why it is extremely hard. And why is it loud when activated? And I think this time to talk about this. Why I chose this profile picture. Also, shut up. Ash Greninja. I think that's already been pretty obvious. That's basically what I am alluding to. So Ash Greninja, if you guys haven't seen it, basically it's a synchronization form between Ash and Greninja, which gives his form, and they have to be in sync to get a lot stronger. If they're not in sync, they're not stronger. So that's why it is really tough to use. So it does. So he loses all access of you. Also, shut up. He loses all access of any magical capabilities, but in exchange, he is in a body armor suit that gives him different abilities to compensate. And the more synchronized you are, the stronger you are. I don't think I had explained this at all because I haven't got to Harmony, and I will be explaining this in Harmony's abilities that is required for it. So think right now, think right now, why there's like the jingle there. If you guys haven't seen how the I don't think I'm gonna show you, but like the synchronization, how Greninja and Ash synchronize. So I think. So I'm gonna show you a bit of it. So I'll gonna skip. So this is the whole inspiration for this idea, where this, and if you've seen the Japanese version of it, it plays bam 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 bam. Yeah, basically that's why I physically put the jingle in it. I think there's something called like diegetic and non-diegetic music. So diegetic music is music that is part of the fictional world portrayed in a piece of the narrative. So it's heard by the character and also by by you guys. So it's gonna have its own jingle, and it's gonna be a diegetic music. But it is possible to turn it off. It isn't really required most of the time, but it's mostly gonna be playing like that. I would say the only time it doesn't play that jingle then into like Jordan and Harmony's synchronization theme is gonna be just this one, and Jordan's synchronization form won't be. So right now it's not very strong. They're not very synchronized, but they will be synchronized and also in love. That's actually pretty obvious though. So think about this is a little bit of romantic elements between Jordan and Harmony. Not really. Celosia and Thurgle, Celosia and August is got to be more of the couple that's got to work together, and it is planned to have 4 people. So I think it was planned to have 5 due to I want to have 4 characters in a group where 2 females and 2 males. But but the problem about it is Harmony is a character that exists. So I had to get rid of the other female character, but then again, that other female character was only planned, but never actually realized at all. It's just me wanting to have another female character, but I just couldn't figure out how to implement her. But that's like very, very early stage when I thought of this. So that's why there's only 3 instead of 4. I think I explained and rambled way too much. And then basically Hubble, they also play the USB hacking device, blah blah blah, nobody cares about that. Then yeah, the Grimwell starts talking to them and explains that she can turn the music off if she wants. It's a she. And I will get down to details a little bit. I won't show it in the story itself, but more in the character introduction. So character introduction of Harmony, it's got to, and I might as well just say this. You saw the names here already. The 4 names: Harmony, Dizzy, Karma, and Tamaya. Those are sisters, and I might as well just say they're sisters. 4 sisters that were turned into grimoires in a very ancient time. and those four has been separated since, and only is it, if I remember, it's Karma is the only one who's physically been seen in her human form, and right now none of them have a apart from Harmony, of course, none of them has a user, like they have a I wouldn't say master because that sounds kind of weird, but they don't have a user for it. And that gives you a question: will I be adding any users of this in the near future? And I can tell you, none of the main cast that in until like season 7, I wouldn't say season 7 even have it. None of them has it yet. I'm thinking of how I can implement those other 3. Especially, I really want to bring them back in some ways. Although, I mean, you're gonna see 3 out of 4 Grimoires in this story. I'm gonna straight up say this. Spoiler alert. I wouldn't call them users. I mean, they are users, but I wouldn't say they are very close to each other, and they're not. It's out of full will. They don't have that. Basically, the other 3 haven't really picked their proper master. I couldn't figure out another word. Blah 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 blah. I've been talking so long where it's now 21 minutes and I have barely even touched this whole thing. It explains it can turn the music off if she wants. Both Celosia and August freaked out when she talked and questioned what kind of Grimoire she is, since Grimoires do cannot do something like this. And Jordan replies he's a special one, which is an ancient Grimoire that has been stuck in that particular region. Blah 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 blah. I'll get to that point when I get to Harmony. I cannot stop spoiling too much. I need to shut my mouth. And then August replied, "Okay then," and then they just kept going on. Both of them have a hunch what the Grimoire is, what Grimoire she is, but they went straight to planning and infiltrating. They do not care enough to push any further. Once they have made it to the dome, then they figure out a way to shut down the magic sensor device. Invisible magic will be useless. August suggests Jordan try to use that form to sneak in and turn off the magic sensor and CCTV. That part, I will kind of elaborate a little bit now. They do turn off the CCTV and magic sensor for the East region. They did not know, because it's definitely being fabricated, that there is more than one CCTV and magic sensor, and they entered the East region. They turned it off. Yeah, they're able to do it, but the EC, the enchanting capacitor, is actually in the East middle region, which the center has its own CCTV and magic sensor. But do they get in the fight? Do they get away? I mean, spoiler, yes, they get away, but there's a reason why. Jordan's a bit hesitant, but still goes for it. Blah 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 blah. Wait. Oh yeah, so Jordan's a bit hesitant about using the form, but he goes. But he still. So he's a bit hesitant about using the form, but still up for it. I don't think that's a really good wording by my part. Once they're done, both August and Celosia can enter using invisibility magic to sneak in past the testing facility, navigate towards the EC, which is located on the eastern central part of the underground dome facility. Once they arrive, they need to shut down the security shield holding the EC. Once they take it and run it and they give it to Pindo in the nearby facility, blah 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 blah. You kind of get an idea. Basically, the EC has a security function, and they need to use the USB to shut it down. That's basically the whole plot. How do we gotta get that big thing out of the dome? August explained he can shrink it for an hour to give them time to sneak back up and get out of the dome. And that's the whole thing. He added that they need to be extra careful because the guards might be back there, so he will set up small cameras near the vent to check if the guards are near. Yes, he could use sensing magic, but also cameras are very useful. Or I can write. Actually, I think I can actually write this out because that was before I thought of it. So, back my big bat there. I think I'm gonna go back. But if the guards are, so he would know, which kind of alludes to his powers. If the guards are near, Celestia suggests that she can set up an activated delay spell to make another explosion in the case. I feel like I missed something in here. So before they get into that vent, the eastern vent, yeah, Grimoire starts. The first thing they need to get the guards' attention away from the dome so they can sneak in secretly with vent. Then Celestia, yeah, massive explosion on the back of the dome to quickly sneak in. Yeah, I feel like I skimmed read some of them. So if you don't kind of understand what I'm trying to say, refer to this document. This document is the key, and it will be placed in every single description out there. And soon this is going to be so big that you probably need to figure out how to navigate it. Once they made it out of the dome, they're like, oh my goodness, I am lost. How do you get it out of the dome? Yeah, I'm extremely lost. I need to probably said it. The plane is done, but August said they need to be careful because this plane is not concrete and anything can go wrong at any time. I'll just leave it. I'll leave it for now. I'll hold off my thoughts. They end the meeting after reiterating on the plan. A not very strong plan, but they never really have time, nor they have smart enough. But it's not over. Bell rings. August said that they will meet around the front gate to grab some food before they do it. You guys okay? And then this is Celestia. Guys, you guys okay with just doing this? If anything goes wrong, we don't know what will happen to us. It's meant to be to us. Celestia said this. Jordan, I got nothing to lose. I don't really care what happens if I failed. Oh my goodness, I did a lot of mistakes. But if I fail, but it's worth the risk to get my name cleared, which is kind of his main motivation. I don't know, man, but even if I risk my life, knowing if it's for the greater good, that's good enough for me. But let's not get too emotional and keep up with this. Let's grab some food afterwards. I know a good place for a final meal. After school, they mingle a bit in a restaurant. So it's mostly, I'm gonna skip a lot of like more characterization, understanding who they are in a restaurant. Let's give a random restaurant that tastes good that August would like. This is more of, I want to say, his favorite food. It might as well. So if I wouldn't say salad would be one. I'm thinking about chicken tendies. I would say fried chicken. Fried chicken restaurant, why not? Because fried chickens are cool. Before they get to the dome at night, most of the time it is them socializing and understanding their personality. August never talks about his past, but more about his future. Celestia tries to tell as little info about about herself, not himself. Herself, and Jordan gets stumped on who he is and doesn't have anything other than his grimoire. So this tells him three things. August he loves to look at the future. He never really likes to elaborate on the past because he doesn't really want to. He's not a big fan of his past. but when it's pushed to shove, whatever's what's called, he will tell about his future and help um to let the other people know that he understands their pain or something like that. And with Celicia, she is trying to tell little as information about herself as possible. The reason why is she does not want them to know the abuse that she is experiencing, and she does not want them to see that she's pushing herself too far to the point where it's extremely unhealthy. Jordan, he lived a life where he legit has nothing. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know what he likes. He doesn't know anything. The only thing that's keeping him alive is, I guess, I want to clear my name and just live my life. He doesn't really have a sort of motivation, like a proper motivation, since he was locked up. He was never given anything he likes. But that would change. He definitely will have more of a personality when we get later on to the story. And I would say he is most interesting in season 3 for me. But this is season 1. He's okay for me for season 1. I mean, for the first part of the story. What makes him interesting later is mostly his powers and how. And yeah, I don't know how to explain it because I'm not at that part of the story, and I should stop doing this. I need to stop talking. I need to actually finish this as fast as possible. At night they try to sneak. So let's just keep going. At night they start to sneak towards the dome, but sees the dome completely empty. They were extremely suspicious of what's going on and took it as an advantage to sneak in and steal it. They use invisibility magic to drop to the vent where it is closest to the magic detector, and that should be the control room. That should be, what did I write? It's a sensor, yeah. Magic sensor room. There we go. Magic sensor control room. There's some birds. They slowly get down and drop into a massive vent that is extremely tall, a very, very big vent. While the vent's very big, what's the point of this? I don't know. How would we know? True. Very useless information. I feel like I'm getting rid of this. This is just like, this is not really going to be the proper writing. This is just kind of understanding what's going on. They slowly walk towards the vent nearest to the control panel. When they arrived, the Grimoire started glowing and transformed into a blue-haired woman. And Jordan activated his form, Synchronization Combat Suit, the SCS. And both Celicia and August were shocked about what they saw, but let him do the job. Jordan is taking the suit very slowly. I don't think that's the really right word, but Jordan is using the suit very slowly. So I want to do something using this. So this is just bad writing for me. I didn't know. It's not really bad writing. It's more just comprehension problems. I have very massive comprehension problems. So Jordan, what I'm trying to say here is that since he doesn't have full control of the synchronization form, I don't want to explain that say that he is taking his time with his suit. I'll say using the suit with Harmony telepathically talking to Jordan and guiding him to get to the center. So it's mostly going to be Harmony. They're not very synchronized yet. They understand how to do it, but they're very cautious. And I'll just spoil it here. They do actually get in the final fight. They will be completely synchronized, where instead of them communicating verbally, they will just know they're this in sync. They understand heart to heart, and then they're not they're not gonna kiss. Sorry for you guys, romantic lovers. They are not gonna kiss. Maybe later on, but they will have a strong romantic interest right in the middle, or Harmony express a romantic interest, but I wouldn't really want them to get together yet, but they will get together. I feel like a lot of romance, they really do push it there, where they lengthen it up and try to push them aside, introduce new characters. This one, I just want to take it slow for it as well, but I don't want really any distraction. It's just not the right time for them to express interest, you know. I might be doing that in part 2, actually. Part 2 has a little bit more time for him to express his feelings, and that's gonna be, I mean, there's like, I wouldn't say the rest of it, but part 2, no, they don't really have a lot of romantic elements. I think they're, oh no, I wouldn't say it. Part 2, they had romantic feelings, but due to some circumstances, they did split up. I'm not gonna explain what that I mean by that. Part 3, I'll say part 3 and part 5 will have both of the main heroine and the main character to form love in that series. Part 4 is going to be a very, very slow one. Part 2, it's a weird one. Then I should go back. So blah blah blah. Jordan sneaks in and shocked that there's nobody there. Something's definitely wrong. He turns off the CCTV and the magic sensor and signals both of them down, and they slowly walk to the EC room. They admire the look inside the door. They've seen many experiments and projects that's not available to the public. I have not put the public part. August stepped down to create some force-like aura to scan the place, which is the thing that I have alluded to, where it is some kind of observation technique. And that will be explained kind of in part 3. Part 3 will be an introduction of it, but it won't be the main power source until parts 5, 6, 7. 7 is a different one, whereas it's less about them using it, but it's more of them using it a bit too much, and everybody else is doing it too much, where they neglect the other powers, which makes basically people are blindsided. I'm not going to explain too much about it until we actually get into the power, but I do have kind of the name for it. So after he does that, they slowly sneak towards the EC room, blah blah, to see. Yeah, could that one. He knows something is wrong. There's no one in the area. There was no one in the area, which made him very skeptical. We gotta get that EC and get the hell out of here. Something isn't right. Yeah, I felt that as well. Harmony says that. She is very smart. She kind of knows what's going on, but she's very silent about it. There's probably there's a reason why. She also has August's technique, but she has it at great extent, and she kind of knows what's going on. They opened up the automatic door and slowly walked in. They quickly ran towards the EC and turned off the machine. They realized that there is no security password to prevent it from happening, so the USB is absolutely useless. Just a red button on the screen to turn it off. Something is definitely not right. They pressed it and used the magic to shrink, blah, 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 grab the EC and run for it. They quickly ran up to the surface during the whole phase. It felt oddly quiet. I have a bad feeling about this. Tell me about this. Why is there no one here? It makes no sense. This is supposed to be a highly secured government facility. This is too easy. And this is where the whole thing has been revealed. It's not really properly revealed because most of the stuff will be revealed at the end, where why this happened, or in like near the end. They slowly got out of the vent, quickly ran towards the surface. Just before they reached the exit, a bunch of flashing light hits them, and Pindle arrives with a bunch of mysterious men. The teens were very confused, but they get quickly knocked out by some sort of gas. Harmony tried to stop it, but her instinct told her to let it happen. And that is part 1. And I want to write the ending part for you guys. So what happened there is Pindle has set them up. I'm gonna I'm gonna spoil it a little bit. So basically, I did mention the CCTV not being on in the central part, but it's very quiet. Something happened near the afternoon to evening before they arrived that will took them out, and how they're going to use this is a secondary function where if Pindle's plan failed and Pindle is not the main mastermind, he is a servant, and he will be he would use that to frame them from stealing the EC. So even if they get out of this alive, they're not exactly free, but they do have one last option that is not revealed yet, and it's gonna set up it's gonna set up part 2, because think of this as Iron Man, and then the other 5 is different stories. They're all gonna go together and team up, basically, and that's basically the whole thing. They wake up in a, I don't know how to explain it, in a, I can't sell his prison cell. Each one is locked up in different cells. Harmony is, how I want to explain this. So Harmony is still with Jordan due to she basically stopped anyone to touch him in general, so nobody can remove her. So that's why he have it. I was thinking about Jordan quickly is try to hide it, but like there's no point. They're gonna search it anyway. So the only logical solution is Harmony uses her magic to prevent anyone to basically take her away from him. They have been duped, so they're very confused, but they're all being duped by Pindle. So the area will be a flying ship. So I'm gonna figure out like the proper terms of how to describe a a spaceship interior. Uh and it pans. I was hovering away from the city. So this is basically setting up that they need to get out of the spaceship. I would say. So this is basically saying they're on a spaceship and their whole goal is to get out of there, but they're not gonna have the easiest time. And what I'm gonna say is at the end I want them to crash into a certain place. I would say I wouldn't really crash. I still want them to still be. Actually, I don't want. Okay, what I'm gonna think of that this one is. Okay, I kind of have an idea what I want, so it pans out. I don't want them to hovering. Match his ship. So they're on a massive ship and basically to try to get the hell out of there. So what I want the final fight is before they almost leave the area. So it's got to start flying after they fight Pindle. So Pindle's more of going to be the secondary villain. Then the final villain, I want to have a 1v1 with Jordan and the final villain, and a secondary villain who works with is gonna be fighting Celosia and August. I'll try to. I almost spoiled who they are. And so they do fly away a little bit, but it's definitely been stopped by Celosia and August after they fight the secondary villain, and they land on the city. Then after land near the waters of the city, they open it up, try to get out. Then bunch of comes and yeah, basically CCTV of them stealing the EC, and the whole raid between the whole raid was so what I want them to do is, yes, they get the EC, they still got the CCTV for those three stealing the EC, and the whole fight to like the whole wipeout of the government will be done by 3 people, but these 3 people are using magic to disguise themselves as those 3 characters. And that's gonna be the end of part 1. This is gonna be a little bit messy, sorry if I'm just elaborating, I'm just talking randomly out of my mind, but yeah, that's basically it. Tomorrow I'll be discussing Harmony, and I'll probably be doing this live with you guys. And the only information that I gave you is that she is 5'9". She's still taller than. I want her to be taller than Jordan. Yeah, he's still 5'6". So yeah, she's slightly tall. I want to make her. I want to make her 5'10". She's as tall as me now. I mean, almost as tall as me. There we go. Now she is almost as tall as me, and no, I don't want that. She's 5'9" now. She got no 5'10". I'll put her 5'10", and that's basically it. Next is gonna be Harmony introduction, and I'll see you there. Bye. Sorry for the weird talking by me and a lot of rambling.